Welcome back, everyone. Today we have David Mencer back on the program. You know what we all think of him. We're looking at an interview he conducted just before the ceasefire deal was confirmed. Many people are thinking, well, why are we talking about David Mencer? I'll tell you why. This guy has been going around conducting various interviews on a number of different platforms that he needs to be exposed. Not just him, but many others, and their time will come. The interviewer starts by asking David what was the level of involvement from the US to get the deal done. And David ramps on about how this doesn't take away any of Israel's power and now it's a good time because they've accomplished their goals. Let's take a look at what he has to say.
What was the level of his administration's involvement, and had it not been possible without his administration's involvement?
So let me be clear with you. If this agreement is actually finalized, and that is by no means clear as we speak today, because our Prime Minister has made clear that there have been some changes by Hamas. They are changing aspects of the deal which were already agreed, and that that agreement cannot be brought before Israel's cabinet until everything is buttoned down. So they are making some changes, but we do want this agreement to continue. But I'll be straight with you. The reason why now, this moment was chosen because of our military and diplomatic strength. Hamas is on the ropes. International pressure, including that of President Trump's decisive stance. It has been very important, but so has President Biden's stance as well. They've created the conditions for this agreement if it is finally agreed. Now, this is Israel acting from a position of power. We do this because every Israeli life matters. We've got 98 of our people in Hamas captivity. Many of them have been killed, but many are still alive as well. So while Hamas dehumanizes and exploits their own people as well as our people, Israel is trying to save lives, both Israeli and Gazan. And we're trying to show the world, actually, the stark difference between good and evil. This agreement, it's not a concession, it's a demonstration of Israel's strength, our moral clarity. Hamas's days are numbered and Gaza will be free of their terror, and Israel will always protect its own citizens together with its values.
This guy is having an absolute laugh. The only person on the ropes is David with the ridiculous things he always has to say. Okay, his first point, Hamas on the ropes. We need to be clear. According to David, anyone in support of Palestine fighting for their homes is put into the same category of Hamas. There's no data or figures to actually prove or explain that those fighting the oppression are any less now than they have been over a year ago. Second point, Israel acting from a position of power. Again, not true. The truth is, the US inauguration process was due to begin and the master told the slave to stop, and they did. Third point, 98 in captivity, killed. Well, I'm sure the whole world has now seen, in particular, the videos of female Israeli soldiers being released, laughing, happy, smiling, who were given medals and certificates. I'm not making this up. Just check my last video or search it anywhere else. All those claims about Israeli hostage conditions, looking back on it now, who was telling the truth and who was telling the lies? Israel saving lives. Final point. The Israeli soldiers, when being released on video, thanked the Al-Qassam Brigade for saving them from Israel's bombardment. Who did they thank? The Al-Qassam Brigade. It's very bizarre, isn't it?
To contribute to rebuild Gaza?
Look, when it comes to the day after this war, I'll be straight with you. Israel, the transition will be from a military strategy to a political strategy. There's a limited amount I can share with you right now on the air, otherwise it's dead on arrival. But we've got three principles. The first one is the complete removal of Hamas. The second one is the demilitarization of Gaza. Nothing can happen until all those arms are taken out of circulation. And thirdly, and most importantly, it's the de-radicalization of Gaza. Hamas is not going to rule Gaza. It's not going to happen. In the immediate future, Israel will maintain security control, and Gazans interested in a better Gaza, and not just about killing Israelis, will be invited to come forward, together with other moderate Arab nations, to make it happen.
So David mentioned 3 points. Number 1, complete removal of Hamas. This has never been done by Israel. They have never succeeded in this, which is a failure in my eyes. A military power who's had a number of opportunities and failed countless times. It's like professional footballers having all the funding readily available only to get renegated. David's second point is the demilitarization of Gaza. Nothing can happen without Israel's approval, and all the arms that are in circulation within Gaza and Palestine are to be removed. Firstly, I've seen, I'm sure you guys have seen, the hundreds of videos over the years of tanks in Palestine and children standing there and men standing there fighting the tanks with stones and pebbles. David saying basically he wants things to go back, or things are going to go back to how they were before. There are 50,000+ people who died, and things will only reset, no change. Point number 3, the de-radicalization of Gaza, David mentions. Maintain security control, David mentions. Again, it goes back to control and management by Israel. My questions are, who are Israel to dictate how the future goes? At the time of this interview, the ceasefire agreement hasn't even taken effect, yet David has already told us that they are in charge, they will dictate Palestine, and they will do what they want.
So again, want to understand from you, you said that the principal position is the eradication of Hamas, complete eradication of Hamas from Gaza. Now, on one end, where you're saying the principal position of Israel is eradication of Hamas, on the other end, Israel will release the convicted terrorists, those who are affiliated with Hamas, have been affiliated with Hamas. Then I don't really understand that what perhaps exactly Israel is looking for. Because on one end, you are eradicating, you have killed their top leadership. There has been a military operation in whole of Gaza. And on the other end, Israel has agreed to release the Hamas terrorists.
Look, for 468 days now, 98 of our people have been cruelly held in Hamas captivity. Our Prime Minister gave our negotiating team a broad remit for these negotiations. From Israel's perspective, we're doing everything in our power to bring home all 98 hostages, the living, so they can recover, and also the deceased, so they can get a decent burial and be reunited with their families, and their families can get some sort of closure. Now, don't forget, these are women, these are children, these are the elderly, and certainly in stage 1 of this agreement, it will be the humanitarian stage, where women and children and those suffering illness amongst the hostages will be freed. But make no mistake, Israel understands that Hamas has been decimated. They are no longer the same organization they were in October 2023. They have their rocket arsenal has been decimated. They were firing.
Make no mistake, David, we all know you're talking out of your backside. Sid actually asked a good question. Israel's only hope for a greater Israel is to illegally occupy lands. How do you do that? By driving people out. We now know, and looking at history, Israel cannot defeat Hamas. This whole time Israel has been saying they will not stop until all Hamas is destroyed, using this phrase to their advantage to expand settlements. Yet when the master speaks, the slave remains silent. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Support me by liking and subscribing, and I'll see you on my next video. Peace out.